Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton with my wonderful co-host, Sid Roeder. How are you, Sid?
Always good when you call me wonderful.
Oh, good. It's better than the other day. So, good. Well, I'm excited for our guest. We had him on recently, and we're going to do a little more dive into what we talked about. But before we get into that, would you mind introducing our sponsor and telling people about it?
Absolutely. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that is dedicating their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, and really anyone that likes to listen to our show. We do so via this show. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for a show for us, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you for doing that. I love that you do that part. Okay, we have Jonathan Choate from SD7 Technology Group with us again. Last time you came on, you talked about fraud and dove into a ton of different things with us, and we had even more to talk about, so we're excited to have you back, so welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah. So the reason we're having you back is a little bit of Sid's family experience. Sid, do you want to recount that for us?
Yeah, I'm going to recount that. It's a painful one for my dad, actually, who fell for a Bitcoin scam, and that just made me aware. And he lost, and they were phenomenally professional. My dad is not, he's a very intelligent man, engineer by trade. But they got him, and that got me realizing that a lot of people fall for all kinds of fraud, but don't talk about it because they're embarrassed. So I thought it was time to make that a little bit more public. And Jonathan is a good friend of mine who knows a lot about those things. And today we're specifically going to start talking a little bit about crypto stuff.
Yeah, so crypto is used in a lot of different types of scams, and there are a number of reasons for it. The first one is that it is not well understood. So anytime that you have something that people don't understand, you're able to trick people into ascribing false attributes to it. You know, that it's an investment type of thing or something like that. So I wanted to start by kind of helping you understand a little more about what crypto is, so that when somebody makes a statement about it and you go, wait, that's not what I heard, hopefully you'll understand not to lend it credence. So there's a lot going on about crypto, and most people, all they hear is that occasionally in the news, about every 3 or 4 years, they talk about people making a whole bunch of money and then people losing a bunch of money. And that is true. There are times when crypto skyrockets. It usually has to do with when there's major changes in the economy, or when certain countries with tight currency controls are trying to move their money out of their country and get it somewhere else. Crypto is an excellent way to do that. So crypto is a currency. So it is a medium of exchange. Just like a dollar would be, or a yen, or whatever currency you want to have, or gold or silver, anything like that can be a medium of exchange. And that's what crypto is designed as. It's designed as a way to facilitate transactions, and it's designed to do so without the rule sets that are involved with a lot of international trade. So I can transact a crypto exchange between here and Japan and do so in Bitcoin or Ether coin or any of the other various ones that are out there.
I'm going to stop you right there for a second, because you're mentioning things, like I said, with my dad, it was Bitcoin. So can you compare these terms to saying like yen or euro?
Yeah,
or
so Bitcoin would be like dollar, whereas like Ether coin would be yen, or there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different cryptos. Some of them are legitimate. Bitcoin is the biggest one. It's more than 50% of all crypto coins out there. So it's the first one, and it's the big player. It's the US dollar, right? And you have some other ones that have certain capabilities that Bitcoin doesn't. And so they're useful in certain areas. So yeah, think of the different cryptos as different world currencies. Now, the differences are they're not backed by a government. So there is no full faith and credit of the United States government that goes behind the US dollar. It is the transaction, the blockchain, and the history of usage is what provides them their
I'm
value.
going to stop you again. Blockchain. You've thrown a term at me.
All right. Blockchain is a database.
Okay.
It's very simple. All it means is that you have a single block of, you have a chain of blocks, and it's one continuous database, essentially, block of data. Every single transaction that's ever occurred in Bitcoin gets written to this blockchain. So from the very first transaction in 2008 or something like that to today, you can go back and look at every single transaction that occurred. It is completely public. So you cannot counterfeit Bitcoin because every transaction is public. Now, at the same time, I know this is it's public, it's also anonymous because it's the transaction is between one set of numbers and another set of numbers. It doesn't have your name attached to it unless somehow that's associated with it. So there's essentially, if I wanted to send you Bitcoin, you would provide me with a Bitcoin hash, which is just a mathematical term for a big long string of numbers that's unique. And if I send it to that hash, it will go to you if you've provided it to me correctly. So it's at one time fully public and at another time fully anonymous, as long as that hash is not directly associated with you. So again, I'm trying not to get too complicated.
We're trying to simplify this. But one question there too. So just asking questions that I think somebody might want to know. So if we did this, we did a transaction, you and I, and now I have Bitcoin. But now I want money that I can use for something. So can I convert this?
You can convert it. You can change it into different crypto. You can sell it on an exchange. Just like if you were in Japan and you bought yen and then you came back to the United States and you went, I'd really like to have dollars again. I would go to an exchange and I would trade that for the currency that I want. So the same kind of thing. I would go to a Bitcoin exchange, which there are dozens of, and they're reputable. They follow a lot of the same rules as banking institutions as far as security goes. There were some growing periods. There was a few big hacks where some of the early exchanges were playing fast and loose because it was new technology. But today, the major players are very well, I can't say regulated because they're not banks, but they're voluntarily choosing to follow a lot of the regulations that banks do so that they can have that air of legitimacy.
So what gives Bitcoin its value then? You mentioned it briefly, but can you give us a little more?
So why does a dollar have value versus, say, a piece of gold?
Because the government says so?
Kind of, yeah. That's basically what it is. And it's not even just government says so. It's because another person accepts its value. Mm-hmm. It's the common acceptance. The government could say it's worth whatever it's want, but if I were to say, no, I don't think that's any good, like, say, Zimbabwean dollars, which went through a hyperinflation period, a couple of decades ago, and they were quadrillions for a single bill. So just because they say it doesn't mean we believe it. So it has value because there is a shared belief in its value. Now, something like gold would have intrinsic value. It took effort, it took work to produce that gold from mining. So, and we will continue this.
Yes, we're at our first break already. Thank you, Jonathan. I know you're deeply immersed in this, and we will get back to it in a minute. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're taking a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know 10,000 baby boomers qualify for Medicare every day? Did you know that you'll start to get swamped with mail about Medicare 6 months before your 65th birthday? Did you also know it doesn't cost anything to use an insurance agent to help you navigate through all those offers?
Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance.
Let me help you understand all the offers you're receiving and find the plan that fits best for your situation. Call me today at 435-890-8155.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a prearranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts prearranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG and they will take care of you.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Roeder, and we've been talking with Jonathan Choate from SD7 Technologies Group about Bitcoin, all the other cryptocurrencies, and you've been explaining what they are, why they have value. As we left for the break, you were telling us why gold and the dollar have value and comparing that to Bitcoin. Can you kind of finish that up for us?
So we were talking about gold has intrinsic value. If I take a piece of gold, it can be used for something, whether it's electronics or whether it's jewelry. Having the gold has a value in and of itself. It also took work to produce that gold, which is why they actually call creating the crypto mining. It's in homage to mining gold, meaning I'm putting effort into producing it. There wasn't just a beginning where a bunch of people said, hey, I'm going to hand you a whole bunch of Bitcoin and you go out and try to convince other people to take it, because that's not how it works. That is how a government currency works. Hey, I'm just going to issue a bunch. I'm going to tell you this is what we're using, and so therefore you're going to start using or else. Cryptos don't work like that. There's no one forcing anybody to use it. It's done over time by showing that it can facilitate transactions better than traditional currencies.
So is that what makes the value go up then? What you just mentioned is the more they can prove that they've done transactions, the higher the value, or how does that work?
So the value is based on anything it's based on demand. Okay. More people buying than selling. Bitcoin particularly, and most cryptos, are designed to be deflationary currencies versus inflationary currencies. So the dollar, year over year, with some very rare exceptions, is always worth less the next year than it was the year before. But, the goal is about 2% for the Fed. We're going to slowly inflate our currency. That's, I don't know, don't necessarily agree that's the right way to do it, but it's the way it is. Cryptos are designed to be deflationary, that the value increases because there's a fixed number. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin, period. That's the maximum number that the math holds. It was done on purpose. So if more and more people use it, it means that we have to spread it around in smaller and smaller quantities. So it's designed to trade to the 9th decimal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So tiny fractions of a Bitcoin. That's the only way that you could have large transactions that went around the whole world with billions of people when there's only 21 million coins. So when the coins very first started, the very first transaction was 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza. So they were worth fractions of a penny. Now, I haven't looked recently. I don't do a lot of crypto exchanges myself, but recently we got as high as about $75,000 per coin. And it fluctuates wildly because demand changes. People hear about it in the news. They think, oh, this is the big thing. They go buy it without necessarily understanding what it is, hoping that it's going to increase in value. And it often does, but then it increases too rapidly, and then it crashes because people want to take their profits out. If I buy it at $50,000, I better sell it at $60,000. If it goes down to $30,000 and I borrowed to do it, or I need to move that money into some other investment, I need to get my money out. So it tends to be wildly volatile. Now that will change over time if and when. I think it will, but there's no guarantee that it becomes more widely adopted for actual currency transactions.
So I've got one question for you that just hit me with the story with my dad, who basically responded to an advertisement that popped up on his computer. How do you discern, as the common man out there, whether you are dealing with someone who is credible or not?
So first of all, I would never, this is only the Sith deal in absolutes. This is one of them. Never respond to anything crypto related that is a cold call or cold advertisement, period. It's one of those things that you have to understand it in order to get into it. All the information is out there if you want to do it. There's tons and tons of information written out there that you can research on it. You can understand it. But understand it before you would try to get involved in it. It's not a stock or a bond. It's not an investment. It's just like saying, hey, well, it's actually like a Forex, a foreign exchange, right? People are trading large amounts of currencies looking for small fluctuations in value between the currencies. If I buy the Deutschmark or the euro, I guess there's no Deutschmarks anymore. I'm dating myself. If I buy the euro with dollars and the euro goes up and I sell them back for dollars, I can make a profit. But those changes are often very small, and they're based on political or economic events that happen in the world. Bitcoin tends to be more volatile, so you don't have to deal in such large quantities in order to make money on it. But you can also lose money, significant amounts of money if you do it wrong. So make sure you understand it. Don't ever respond to a random ad about crypto, period.
So if someone wants to do it, how would they go about finding somebody?
So if you feel you're a little bit tech savvy, go do some research. If not, talk to somebody who is. This is something that's a relatively foreign concept. It's not intuitive to just pick it up. There's a lot of math involved. There's a lot of it's a new form of trying to have a medium of exchange. It's digital only. There have been people who started producing physical Bitcoins that they could trade for an electronic Bitcoin. That did not last very long because it was a stupid idea. Really, that's my opinion, obviously. But the whole point of it is a digital currency. So it's not to go and drive through and get a sandwich for lunch. It is designed for large transactions that tend to be non-local and particularly intergovernmental. So if I want to buy something that is foreign, I don't have to trade my dollars for yen to buy something from Japan, and then they have to ship it across the world, things like that. So it's really, really good for that. It's instant. It's worldwide. Anybody can do it. There is zero bar for entry other than having to have an ID and be able to prove who you are in order to make an exchange account. You can actually do it yourself, although at this point, it's technologically prohibitive to actually run your own blockchain because the blockchain is so large, it would fill up your entire computer and you'd only have 2% on there. So it requires large amounts of data to hold that blockchain.
So where would somebody go and look for somebody who knows what they're doing? I mean, which sources would you trust?
Would I trust? I would look for the major brokerages or stocks. So Coinbase is the largest one out there. So Coinbase is a pure crypto exchange. There's also a huge amount of resources on there that try to teach you about it. So that's the first place I would look. There are others that try to marry coins into things like mutual funds or various securities rather than just simply buying a currency. Those are going to have a lot more volatility and a lot more risk. They have, if you catch them at the right time, and if the person running them is good, there's a lot of potential payoff. But again, they're going to be listed on an exchange, something like Robinhood. It would be equivalent to a Vanguard mutual fund or something like that. It's going to be a listed exchange on one of the major exchanges. Probably NASDAQ is where most of the tech stuff is.
Okay, perfect. We're already coming up on, our second break here. Again, this is the Senior Moments Show. We are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty. I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
And welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bryce Patton here with Sid Roeder, and we've been hearing all about crypto from Jonathan Choate from SD7 Technology Group. You know, during the break, we were just talking about the importance of, or not even the importance, but why people are focusing on crypto as a fraud. And you had a great explanation. Would you mind diving into that?
So the issue is the design and purpose of Bitcoin is to facilitate ease of transaction between anybody. So crosses national borders very, very easily. And when you're, say, a Russian or Eastern European organized crime outfit, that's a preferred method of being paid versus the US dollar that has to go through US banks and then the export controls and import controls and all those things, which makes it far harder for them to get their money anonymously. So crypto is a very effective method of, with things like, say, ransomware, where you get infected, your information is encrypted, and you have to pay a ransom to unlock it. Have your backups. Just don't. Back your stuff up. We won't worry about that. So that's why it's so commonly associated with fraud, is because it's so simple that it can be abused. So we need to be aware of it. We need to understand what it is so we demystify it. And at the same time, we need to know why it's desirable for bad actors to want to transact in it.
Right. So, but if you, let's just say you fell for some advertisement that is not correct and you're being asked to transfer some money to, do they use the Bitcoin? Or actually in my dad's case, I hate to say it, it was sent into an account in a foreign country.
Right. So that's why you're going to go to an exchange. Just like if somebody called you up on the phone and said, hey, I'm with the bank of the random pine tree in this forest. I'm making obviously an absurd example there. I'm not going to send money to a bank that doesn't have a functioning website, that doesn't have a reputation. I'm going to choose a bank or a securities seller or an insurance company that has reputability. I'm not going to be fooled by a random bank that doesn't have a branch or doesn't have a name. Because we don't understand crypto, it's easier to be fooled. But it's the same thing. The exchange, whether or not it handles your local currency. For us here, we're at the US dollar, but if we were in Europe, it might be in euros or in British pounds, now that they're out of the EU, etc. If there needs to be an exchange within your country that can convert your currency into crypto and vice versa.
So, little technical question. I don't know if you even know, but if, let's just say I fell for something like that and I'm going to my bank to send money, who knows where. Can I ask my bank person and say, look, this is what I was given, this is what's going on. Can you check the recipient?
So they are a good resource theoretically, because they're still just people, whether or not they know or not, whether that training has happened, it's a little bit hit and miss. But I would ask. I know a person who fell for a scam and they were told to go to Albertsons when it was here and to get gift cards from the grocery store. And the person at the Albertsons desk said, hey, do you sure you know what you're doing? This sounds like a fraudulent potential transaction. And they questioned it. And that was at the Albertsons customer service desk. So anybody who deals in this should have more than a baseline knowledge in it. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to know about your particular potential real or fake investment. But just like you're not going to pick a bank randomly, you've got to do the research. And if you don't have the skills, you got to ask somebody. Picking a bank that you're going to transact with, or who you're going to buy your mutual funds from, or who you're going to buy an IRA through, or an annuity. All of those things, anybody out there knows, oh yeah, I'm going to research that. Those are securities. Those are regulated. Those are common things we all understand. And there's some that are better than others. Crypto's the same way. It's not magic. It's not some special thing that has different rules. Yes, it's a different way of approaching currency than government-issued currencies. But it still follows all the same common sense rules that we should have for how we send or receive money, value, etc. I'm not going to buy gold from some person who has it in his trench coat on the street because it might be fake. Same thing. Research, ask the questions. Those are the keys to always overcoming scams. Is shed the light on it. Talk to people.
No, I love that. Do you have any other tips that you would throw out there for?
I'm reminded of an old Warren Buffett. This is going to be not necessarily a quote, but the spirit of the quote. He never invests in anything he doesn't understand, and I think that's a good rule of thumb. If you don't understand how something works, just simply don't do it. Don't buy crypto. Don't buy annuities. Don't buy, all of the various real estate investment funds, REITs that were out there that became huge scams in the crash. Don't do something you don't understand. If you understand it, go that direction, or seek a professional who can help you to understand it.
I think that's excellent advice. We're sadly already coming up towards the end of our show, and I know we've cautiously thrown that out there before, Jonathan. Not that everybody goes and calls you about every little thing now, but
sometimes.
If somebody has a specific question, technology, where can they reach you?
So the best thing would be to email me, Jonathan, Jonathan, at sd7.net. Sierra Delta, numeral 7. Those are hard. There's lots of common sounds with that one. .net. Or call me, 435-232-6237, and we'll try to see if we can answer your questions.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in, Jonathan. Stay safe out there, and tune in again next week.